The rain had already soaked me through by the time I reached the house. I stood on the familiar front porch, water dripping from my jacket, staring at a door I'd knocked on 100 times before. Only this time, something felt different, heavy, like a moment waiting to happen. I hadn't seen Daniel in over a year. Life had scattered us after college, and tonight's visit was spontaneous, almost impulsive. I was in town for work, restless in a hotel room, and found myself driving here without fully understanding why. I raised my hand and knocked. The door opened slowly, and there she was, Claire Anderson, my best friend's mother. She looked up, surprised at first, then her face softened into a smile that seemed warmer than I remembered. Her hair, once always tied back when we were younger, fell loosely over her shoulders now. There was a quiet elegance about her, the kind that comes from confidence earned through years of living. "Ethan," she said, disbelief mixed with delight. "Oh my goodness, it's been so long." For a moment, I forgot how to speak. Hi, Mrs. Anderson," I finally managed, feeling suddenly 16 again. She laughed gently. "Please, it's Claire. You're not a kid anymore." She stepped aside and waved me in. That was the moment everything began to change. The house smelled the same, coffee, wood polish, and something floral. Nostalgia hit me harder than expected. This place had been my second home growing up, full of late-night gaming sessions and family dinners I'd been invited to more times than I could count. "Daniel isn't here," Claire said as she took my wet jacket. "He moved out last year. Job in Seattle." I nodded. I knew that, technically. But hearing it aloud made it feel final. "Well," she added, smiling, "you are more than welcome to stay a while. You look like you could use some warmth." She handed me a towel and gestured toward the living room. The fireplace was lit, casting a soft glow across the space. We sat across from each other at first, catching up politely. She asked about my work, my travels, my life. I asked about hers. Somewhere along the way, the conversation stopped feeling like small talk. "You seem different," she said, studying me over her mug of tea. "So do you," I replied before I could stop myself. Her eyebrow lifted, amused. "Different how?" "Stronger," I said. "More yourself." She smiled, but there was something vulnerable in it. Life has a way of stripping things down. After Daniel's father passed and the house emptied out, I had to figure out who I was without being someone's wife or someone's mom every minute. I felt a pull in my chest I couldn't explain. As the evening stretched on, the rain outside turned into a storm. Thunder rolled, and the lights flickered once. "You should stay," she said gently. "At least until the storm passes." I knew I should hesitate. I didn't. That night, sleep didn't come easily. The guest room was quiet, but my mind wasn't. I kept thinking about her laugh, the way she listened when I spoke, how different it felt now that I wasn't a teenager crashing on her couch. Sometime past midnight, I heard movement in the hallway. The door creaked open slightly. "Ethan," her voice was soft, hesitant. "Are you awake?" "Yes," I said, sitting up. She stood there, wrapped in a cardigan, looking unsure, human in a way I'd never seen before. "I couldn't sleep," she admitted. "Storms still get to me." "Do you want to sit?" I asked, patting the edge of the bed, instantly worried I'd crossed a line. She hesitated, then nodded. We talked quietly, about fear, about loneliness, about the strange way life keeps moving whether you're ready or not. At some point, silence fell, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Our hands brushed accidentally. Neither of us pulled away. "I don't know what this is," she whispered. "But I know it feels real." "I feel it too," I said. "And I don't want to pretend I don't." She looked at me then, not as someone's mother, not as a memory, but as a woman seeing a man. When she leaned in, the kiss was gentle, tentative, filled with years of unspoken understanding and restraint. It wasn't reckless. It was careful, honest, and it changed everything. The days that followed were unlike anything I'd ever known. I stayed longer than planned. One day turned into 3. We cooked together, walked in the early mornings, talked late into the night. There was no rush, no illusion, just two adults discovering a connection that had somehow waited until the right moment. Still, doubt lingered. "What about Daniel?" I asked one evening as we sat on the porch, watching the sunset. She nodded. "I've thought about that. A lot. I won't lie to him, but I won't deny myself happiness either. We're not doing anything wrong." She was right. When she finally did tell him, it wasn't easy. There were hard conversations, distance, and time needed. But eventually, understanding grew, slowly, painfully, but honestly. Love, we learned, doesn't always arrive when it's convenient. Sometimes it arrives when you're ready. A year later, I stood on that same porch again. This time, I didn't knock. The door opened, and Claire smiled at me, the same door, the same house, but an entirely different life behind it. And every day since, I've been grateful that she opened it.